6,000 soldiers walked into Britannia around 120 AD and were never heard from again. And Rome's response tells us everything about accepting the unknowable. Here's what we're dealing with. The Legio Roman 9 Hispana, one of Rome's most decorated units, stationed in York. Around 120 to 130 AD, historians still argue the exact year the legion stopped appearing in official records. No final battle account, no surrender terms, no mass grave discovered, just absence. The Roman Empire, which documented everything obsessively, simply stopped mentioning 500 soldiers and their support staff. Exhibit 1, the paper trail vanishes. We have garrison records from before, we have records from after. But the middle, silent. In an empire that left us shopping lists scratched on pottery, tax rosters, private letters, the institutional silence about this legion's fate is deafening. It's not that the records were destroyed. It's that the legion simply stopped being mentioned in any official communication. Exhibit 2, the competing theories. Historians have proposed at least 4 major explanations. Some say they were annihilated by Pictish warriors in Scotland. Others claim plague decimated the ranks. A third camp argues they were transferred east to fight Parthians and their records got mixed up. A fourth suggests they were simply disbanded and absorbed into other units. Notice what's missing from this list: certainty. We're working with educated guesses, not facts. Exhibit 3, archaeology keeps rewriting the story. In 2019, a discovery near Hadrian's Wall suggested the legion may have been involved in a conflict that wasn't previously documented. But this didn't solve anything. It just added another thread to an already tangled knot. Every artifact, every inscription, every fragment of bone creates new questions instead of answering old ones. Here's where the Stoic wisdom enters. The Romans themselves faced this disappearance. Historians writing decades later, Tacitus, Cassius Dio, simply admitted they didn't know. They didn't fabricate a heroic last stand. They didn't invent convenient enemies. They said the thing that modern people struggle to say: we don't have enough information to conclude anything definitive. This is the first Stoic move. Distinguish between what you control and what you don't. A Roman commander in 120 AD could control how his soldiers fought, how he defended his fort, what decisions he made under pressure. He could not control whether that decision would be remembered accurately. He couldn't control whether plague would strike. He couldn't control whether records would survive. The second move is harder, except that some questions don't have answers. We want closure. We want narratives that resolve. We want to know whether those 500 men died in glory or were forgotten in disgrace. But wanting and having are different costs. The cost of forcing an answer where none exists is intellectual dishonesty. The cost of living with uncertainty is discomfort. Modern life drowns you in false certainty. Your news feed demands you pick a side on questions with incomplete data. Your boss wants decisions based on projections that haven't happened yet. Your social media argues about events nobody witnessed. You're constantly pressured to know things you can't possibly know. The Ninth Legion teaches a different approach. It says, gather the evidence you have, look at it honestly, state what you know and what you don't, then stop. Don't build castles on sand. Don't pretend mystery is solved when it isn't. That takes discipline. It means resisting the urge to fill silence with noise. Think about what this costs you in daily life. You make a mistake at work. Your brain immediately spins narratives. Maybe they think you're incompetent, maybe you'll get fired, maybe your career is over. None of that is data. It's fiction. The Stoic move is to separate the fact you made a mistake from the story your anxiety invented. Or a relationship ends. You want to know why. Was it something you did? Something they did? Bad timing? Incompatibility? You'll never have complete certainty. Some people spend years constructing elaborate theories about a breakup that nobody can verify. That's expensive. It costs emotional energy and peace of mind. The Stoic framework says, acknowledge the uncertainty. You may never fully understand why things happened, and that's okay. You can still move forward. You can still make good decisions with incomplete information. In fact, that's the only kind of decision anyone ever makes. Certainty is a luxury that doesn't exist. What happened to the Ninth Legion? Maybe we'll know someday. An excavation will uncover something definitive, or maybe we won't. Maybe 900 years from now, historians will still be debating. And here's the thing, Rome functioned perfectly well without that answer. The empire continued. New legions were raised. Decisions were made. Life went on. This is what professional decision-makers understand that anxious people don't. You can act decisively while remaining uncertain. A general doesn't wait for perfect intelligence before moving troops. A doctor doesn't wait for guaranteed diagnosis before treating. A leader doesn't wait for absolute certainty before choosing a direction. They gather available evidence, make the best call they can, and adapt as new information arrives. But this requires you to separate two things: your need for narrative closure and your actual ability to function. You don't need to know the ending of the story to live the next chapter well. You don't need absolute answers to make good choices today. In fact, the people who insist on certainty before acting are the ones who never move. The practical exercise is simple. Name something you're anxious about right now. Separate what you actually know from what you're guessing. Write down only the verifiable facts. Notice how small that list is. Notice how you've been building an entire emotional structure on speculation. That's the work. That's where freedom lies. The Ninth Legion vanished into mist. We may never know why, and that's not a failure of history, it's a feature of reality. Some questions don't have answers. Some mysteries stay mysteries, and you can build a strong, decisive life anyway. That's not resignation. That's clarity. That's the Stoic path. Subscribe for more unsolved historical cases that teach us how to live with what we don't know.